You are now watching Believe. Do you believe?
Horns Up Talking Texas podcast. Joshua Fisher, Nikki Snacks Crider, and Alexander Tesopoulos. Get your horns up because here we go. Horns Up Talking Texas podcast after a nice ass whooping handed to the OU Sooners 49-0. The last shutout since 1965 against OU.
Bang.
Now, boys, I have never felt so good after watching a Texas football game. We're 4-2 now. There was somewhere that I saw on Twitter that gives Texas a 13% chance at making the college football playoff. Now, they're going to need a lot of help for that to happen. I know we don't like forecasting the future. We like to take it game by game.
Sure.
But there is a conceivable chance here if they were to win out.
Well, well, let's start there. First of all, looking at this game, we are a completely, and nothing against Hudson. Like, Hudson, by and large, can be a starting quarterback for a team that's 20-40 in the FBS.
Yep.
Even like with a really good defense, 15-40. He's not a top 10 playoff caliber team starting quarterback. With Quinn, you saw the playbook was completely wide open, and outside of that one drive where we were in field goal range, and he missed X-Man in the back of the end zone. He missed Whittington on a wide open touchdown on the right side at the front of the end zone, which apparently slipped out of his hands when he was trying to throw it away. Which again, like, throw that away, we still get points there. The offense, we were automatic on third down, 10 of 15. We ran the ball extremely well.
Almost 300 yards on the ground.
Bijan, Roshan, Brooks, even Quinn had a nice little slip. Keelan is great. We got the ball in his hands. We got the ball in Whittington's hands. Like, Worthy really didn't do much. He just had that one touchdown grab.
Had 3 catches.
Sanders was fantastic. And the defense, once they talk about complimentary football, once they shut them out, and again, they really couldn't do anything in the pass game, but they ran pretty well. Once they shut them out, they caught fire. 11 tackles for a loss, 3 sacks. Like, this is completely different. And there was still like room, like, hey, we weren't that great on the run game. We still can improve there. The reason we're a 13% chance, the Big 12 is good. TCU is a good team. I think Oklahoma State is super solid. We still have to play those two teams. We still have to play a good Kansas team, a good K-State team, and a good Baylor team. Not to mention, we do have to beat Iowa State this upcoming weekend. If we win out and win the Big 12, they'll look at us and go, the only 2 losses they have were against
Number 1
Bama, who we need to lose probably. I'm assuming that if Bama loses to Tennessee, I feel better about Bama. I feel better about Tennessee dropping a game than I do about Bama. If Bama gets out of gets out of Knoxville with a win, I don't think they're going to lose.
You're saying we need Bama to lose to get into the playoffs?
We just need all these teams to start losing.
Yeah,
we need everyone to start losing, is my point. And I think this is a good place for Alabama to lose because I feel more confident in Tennessee losing on another point in the season. They're going to look at our team and go, okay, if you look at the 2 losses, and if this is how they should look at it, they lost by 1 to a great Alabama team, comparatively to the league this year, and their quarterback got knocked out. They almost beat, in Lubbock, a tough place to play, a Texas Tech team who's super solid, who, they're
that argument's losing credibility as the weeks go by.
But they
played a really close game against Oklahoma State,
with their 5th quarterback. I mean, and then again, that we had their 2nd quarterback. They've just been running through quarterbacks. That argument is losing steam because they're losing. If we had Quinn, though, if we win out with Quinn, then those 2 games are just kind of like asterisk-y.
That's also why you take in consideration that it's not like a ranking system by the AP or by the coaches. It's a committee that takes those things into consideration, I feel like. That Texas, at full strength, at full health, with Quinn Ewers, could be an undefeated team.
It's accomplishments. It's how good the team actually is.
Right.
And it's pedigree of the program. Now, look, if USC runs the table, if Bama and Georgia run the table and they again won their only losses to each other, and then winner of Ohio State, like, let's say Michigan comes out on top against Penn State. I think we all assume that's going to happen this weekend.
I don't know.
I mean, look,
I don't necessarily know.
I don't know. If Penn State beats Michigan, things can get wild. We still have an undefeated Ole Miss team.
Got a lot of undefeated teams.
We have an undefeated Tennessee team.
There's like no shakeup going on around the top 10 all season for the most part.
And then like UCLA is like a legit program. Like UCLA and USC are legit programs.
Big red circle around that UCLA USC game. It's down the horizon.
Unless USC loses to Utah in Utah this weekend, that would be big for us.
A lot of people are predicting that.
I think that's a very telling game for them. And all we can control, though, is how we play.
Of course.
Which means this Iowa State team, which is no slouch, but is not of the tier of Oklahoma State, TCU, K-State, and maybe not Kansas or Baylor. We're at home. Sun comes up. Kickoff, 9 for us, 11 to CT. By 2:30 p.m. CT, we need to be back in the locker room. Absolutely dominated.
We lost to them last year, right?
Yeah, we were. That was one of the games we were up at half, and we ended up getting piped by them. We came out after that first drive. There was no looking back in the Cotton Bowl. Fans on the OU side were gone by the midway through the third, and by the end of the State Fair, you didn't even see any red. It was just burnt orange. Like they had already gone.
I mean, major rivalry game like that, you can't hang around.
No. Yeah,
I mean, Josh and I did. We had a post-L log ride together.
Yeah, but that was a good
but
game.
It wasn't 49-0 is an absolute embarrassment.
We had to stay till the end. The game was not over.
Yeah, it's very
that
true.
game, honestly, at half it felt over. They could not only could they not throw the ball against us, they couldn't even try to. They had such little. It was so shocking to see how little faith in the pass game they had.
They're going to lose a lot more games this season. That team is quitting all over that program. We're probably going to see a lot of transfers too. We're probably going to see a lot of recruits decommit. I mean, it's a big swing.
But this is what happens. They lost. Look, when OU has Lincoln Riley, you are going there. This is not like oh my God, I'm going to play in Austin or Miami or USC. You're going to Oklahoma. And say what you will, I've been to Oklahoma. Meh. You're going to go play in Oklahoma because you want to play for Lincoln Riley. You know? That's the draw of the program. You're an offense. Like, they still have Gray there who could have probably transferred and gone somewhere else. They brought in Dylan Gabriel and his offensive coordinator that he had at UCF. Mims stayed there. But by and large, a lot of the offensive recruits that were going to stay there, and, obviously Caleb Williams and Williams, and the receiver Williams, both go to SC. So there's a full identity change. The Fire Venables thing is, like, he's a good coach, but he has to get his guys in there. It's the same thing with Sark. Like, clearly Sark is a good offensive mind. He just needs the right guys that can execute his playbook. And while Card is a good player, he's not a great player, and he's not he's not good enough. Like this, go to like McVay and Goff. Goff's like a starting quarterback in the NFL. He's not bad. But he needed a guy like Stafford to really open up his playbook.
I just don't even think Card is not even comparable to Bevel. Like, this guy, we watched Case McCoy and David Ash quarterback the Texas Longhorns. We watched Tyrone Swoops quarterback the Texas Longhorns.
No, Card's better than those guys.
All of those guys are better than than Bevel, who we watched. They were on Saturday.
Watched. He played more snaps at wide receiver, it seemed. Did he not?
Yeah, because they had no faith in putting him at the quarterback position.
Which is, again, what I'm saying is they need to fully revamp the program.
They had a running back throw the ball.
Through a pick.
Yeah.
I mean, we watched. I think it was maybe Kansas State when we were like juniors or seniors, and I think their third string quarterback got hurt, and they ended up playing a wide receiver at quarterback in that game. It was the game where it poured, like pouring rain, absolute downpour.
I had to go home. It was too cold.
Yeah, it was freezing.
It's the only game I've left early.
It was crazy conditions, and that wide receiver quarterbacked a better game than Oklahoma had. All that to say, like, the 49-0 win was very impressive, but I do think that when you talk about, like, we have 2 losses, but we had a backup quarterback, and if we had Quinn for those 2 games, we'd be undefeated. Like, I think it's about looking forward. Like, we're getting into a conversation that every school can have at this point. Because how many teams, potential, like, SEC contenders, potential Big 12 contenders, have had their quarterback go down?
Alabama.
Yeah.
And they've been fine. I'm just saying, like, I think looking at it from a playoff standpoint, I'm hoping that if we can take care of business, they look at our team and go, okay, that wasn't their full team in those 2 games, but we see what their full team can do, and that they take that into account. because we are better. I mean, like, look, we are better. I don't. We probably would have shut them out with
We're
Hudson
better
still.
than the record shows.
I need to see Quinn against like a really formidable opponent. Is that what you're kind of getting at? Or
Yeah,
more
I
from, like,
mean,
Oklahoma?
this OU team is in shambles. They were
Sure.
not good.
No.
When it was
They suck.
28-0 at that point, like Nick and I were like, okay, we feel, despite what happened last year,
Yeah.
we were like, we feel pretty good about
Exactly. This week, you gotta just keep the foot on the gas. You gotta take care of business against Iowa State. The week after that, though, Oklahoma State, that's gonna be the true test.
If we go, the thing
this.
is,
Sanders got banged up in their game. I'm sure he'll be fine by the time he plays us.
I hope he is.
Yeah, he's a good player though.
Yeah, great.
And he can run.
Yeah, exactly. Which is our weakness. That was like the one thing is like we really couldn't stop the run. They still ran for almost 200 yards on us.
156.
We got to be able to stop the run better. That's just by and large. But I felt like our guys, once we knew that their shutout was on the horizon, there was like a new level of like.
Yeah, they took it to another
energy.
gear,
Yeah,
for sure.
You know, I want to push back on that a little bit because, yes, they rushed for a lot of yards, but if you look at all of their yards as a whole, they were under 200 yards of total offense. And they got the ball a lot because we scored so much, and they didn't have a quarterback. They didn't want to throw the ball, so they were forcing themselves to run more.
I did think in the first half, on like first and second down runs, they were quite effective.
I think they rushed the ball like 50 times.
I'm telling you, I have to all look at it, but
There were definitely some runs in the first and second quarter where we weren't getting an arm on them until like 3 or 4 yards past the line of scrimmage.
In the first half, they were running the ball really fast.
Now we were very much like bend don't break because we had 2 clutch fourth down stops in our own territory, which was fantastic.
They rushed for 42 carries. They had 42 carries.
Yeah.
A team that loses 49-0 should not have that many carries.
Well, that was their offense.
Exactly. So
They
I'm just
ran,
saying, they have 150 plus yards on the ground, but you also have to consider that that's how they ran the game.
I mean, yeah, they
They
still
got 3.7 yards per carry.
It wasn't special, but at the beginning of the game, I'm saying they were running really effectively. And once we were able to cue in on look, they're not going to be able to pass the ball, then you could adjust.
I will say that we always say that the weakness of the defense and our focus needs to be stopping the quarterback who can run. We've done that all season long. Like Frank Mason from UTSA couldn't really get it going. Bryce Young didn't really get it going on the run besides that one major run. I mean, it's just not really. I mean, I guess the Texas Tech game, but he wasn't making big runs. He was just improvising in the pocket.
Yeah, but they were like that we need to do a better job of containing. Look, there are things we have to improve on, and that's like one of them.
But
I'm not saying we're bad at it. We just couldn't improve on it.
Right.
I do think, despite like what Josh and I are saying about how they actually were decently effective,
Sure.
all things considering, because we shut them out 49-0, their rushing attack with their running backs, I felt when they did try to dial something up, whether it was a trick play or it was the quarterback stepping back in the pocket, we were on them.
Right.
That's when our defensive line really blew up their offensive line and made something happen.
We were incredible. We just need to improve.
Yep. How about Bijan's Heisman odds? Went up a little bit. Had 130 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns.
He's gonna set a career high in receiving.
Yeah.
Within the next game or
He
so,
will.
which is great.
But I mean, is it? I mean, I don't think anyone's really running away with the Heisman right now.
I think
you think
Stroud's
running away with the Heisman.
Okay.
His
games are getting tougher though, so there might be some drop off.
He has not had one game where he's had a dud, and Bijan realistically has had 2, which is unfortunate.
Which is unfortunate. We still have a lot of shoe left to play. I will say this: Stroud put his nuts in the bump in East Lansing.
On the bump.
Yeah,
Nice.
he threw 6 touchdowns.
Well, this is what I was going to say: is I think
3 different receivers
in the first half.
Yeah, Fleming and Smith and Jig was not even playing.
Right.
Like,
Who I think I don't know if that guy's actually the best receiver in the nation, but he's obviously a really
Marvin
incredible
Harrison
talent.
Jr.
Marvin
Right.
Harrison Jr. or
Probably could be his
Buka is a teammate.
Well, what I was going to say though is, I think we saw enough from Quinn in the Alabama game, the short amount of time that we saw him in this game, and give it 2 or 3 more weeks. But in my mind, he is the second best quarterback in college football. Quinn
behind
Stroud.
And
As far as pro level talent, like if I were a pro level scout, what I'd be looking for. Now I do think that I think Bryce Young is 3rd, and I think part of the reason that I've seen from him that I haven't necessarily seen from the other two guys. For Quinn, it's because he hasn't seen enough adversity. He hasn't been in enough games. But Bryce Young's mentality is top notch.
He's a winner.
It's Jalen Hurts level mentality.
Winner. The kid from Tennessee is quite good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go check out the Heisman odds at betonline.ag, our sponsor.
Yeah.
Betonline.ag, promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, to get 50% off your welcome bonus.
The kid on Mississippi State, which I keep fighting about with Joe in the office. I mean, he's putting up the numbers and they're winning games.
Yeah. I mean,
They have
Hooker's 24. Hendon Hooker's 24, so he's a little bit older, obviously.
Yeah, but his stock's going up.
Yeah.
I mean, we all of us were like Swiss cheese on the Richardson kid in Florida. We knew, like, I mean, I had people.
He had another terrible game.
Hey, somebody. It was our buddy Adam texted us about like Richardson versus Hooker. I'm like, I think the guy Hooker is better. And he goes, no. I'm telling you. First of all, Hooker had a better game than him in that game they played against each other. And then now he's had a couple. The Kentucky game, this past game.
But
Like,
from a personnel standpoint, so you could agree with me or disagree with me that Quinn is the second best quarterback in college football, or third, or fourth if you want to put him
top five.
Gotta
Yeah,
see more, but yeah.
Gotta see more, but he's top five.
So-
That's what I've seen.
I think that Quinn will get drafted higher than any quarterback right now. He's not going to get drafted next year, obviously.
No,
But if they
Stroud
draft
is going
that,
to go first overall, unless the Steelers.
Quinn might go first overall.
they're both of that talent level, though, I think.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're not going to get drafted in the same draft class, but it's been a long time since we've had a guy like that donning the burnt orange.
Have we ever had a number one overall pick? Texas? I don't think we have.
We've had VY was 3, Jammer was 5, Said B was 4.
Where was Ricky and Earl and all those guys?
Ricky was 5. Earl, I think Earl maybe was number 1. Let me see Earl. You could look at
I'll
Earl.
look.
I could be wrong.
I
with
really
Earl.
think we.
Ricky was 5. Huff was 7.
Well, so we could questionably have the best quarterback in college football,
Earl was number 1.
and
Number
I think that we have the best tight end, the
Sanders?
the best pro
Pro.
talent
He's sick.
tight end.
Him
I
or
mean, the
Michael Mayer on.
The Georgia guy
Yeah. Bowers.
who's rushed for 3 touchdowns.
He's Bowers.
That's not really a tight end stat.
He's Taysom Hill. Bowers, the kid on Notre Dame, Michael Mayer is good too.
Yeah.
John Mayer's brother.
Yeah, they are related.
Yeah.
He's really good at the drums. You should see him.
But Jatavian was dicing up their defense, and I was like to Nick, this is reminiscent of Pitts. It's not at the same level, obviously, because we don't feed Jatavian
He's
like
also
they
a sophomore.
like they fed Pitts.
He's
but
got time to really grow.
They
too.
run him They run him blocking a lot too.
he's a do-it-all tight end though.
He might be the first overall tight end taken.
You know, he led the team out of the tunnel pretty much.
I love that.
He was both times out of the half
Fired up.
dude. Yeah,
Love it.
he was right. You saw, like, he was the most fired up guy out there.
But the reason why he's so good is he's so versatile because you can literally use him as
At whatever you
At
want.
whatever
Came
you
out
want.
as an
You can-
athlete.
H back.
Yeah, you can put him-
tight end, wide receiver, whatever you want.
line him up on the outside,
That's
line
so
him up on the
valuable.
slot.
I mean, he might be the second highest of all, like, of the guys who are going to be first overall picks, maybe, which is Quinn.
Calvin Banks.
We won't include Banks. Yeah, he's a freshman, but sure.
Okay.
He's been. Hey, by the way, our freshman, our young offensive line, 0 sacks. Beige, Worthy, Jatavian. Jatavian could be the second highest guy taken between him and Quinn, and Worthy and Beige.
Yeah. No, I can see that for sure.
Right.
Jatavian. You just
Better
look
than
at the
Noah Fant.
NFL. And you just look at like the Chiefs, right? Or like the Ravens. Mark
Yeah.
Andrews, Kelsey. Like that position is so valuable because those guys can do so many different things, and the defense has to be prepared for all of those.
On a really, if a team is a dessert, like at a nice place, I'm not talking like an ice cream sundae. If it's a dessert, like a tight end is like the sauce ice cream, like that goes on top of
Like
the
the
cake.
a la mode.
Oh, I was gonna say like he's the base.
He's like it's like the additive because for some teams like quite frankly, just to go on an NFL tangent, like the pit is not really working for the Falcons because they have Drake London. They don't really need a guy. I mean, it's helpful, but like they haven't really been able to utilize him. He's been hurt.
Yeah. I don't know if the offense really kind of get involved in it.
But he's a good decoy too.
Yeah, he's a good piece. He's great. He's a great athlete. He's a good receiver, but like he's not as good of a blocker. He's not as do-it-all as Kelsey, Andrews, and Kittle.
The importance, I think, to me, and significance of a great tight end is when you get in the red area, you have to be able to put up points.
Which he does, Sanders.
And he's great in the screen game. He can block, but then he can release in the flat. Like, he's a safety valve, but he can also, like, he can run a seam. Like, the versatility there, if you were the Texas Longhorns and you're on the 5-yard line, like, you can have him in, and yeah, you can run Bijan up the gut, and that's a big threat. But you go PA there, and now they have to deal with Jatavian, who's rolled out. You know, if Quinn's rolling out right, and Jatavian's running with him. Like,
big open target.
It's massive.
I love it. I love what we saw throughout the past game. I love that we got the dub. 49-0 feels really good. Till next season, OU. But we'll give you a preview of Iowa State coming up this week, and hopefully the boys can continue the wins.
Yeah, absolutely. Horns up, fellas.
Quan Cosby will be back with us then.
Big Q. We saw him on the field. I was looking for him quickly in the stadium, and then I saw
sandwiched.
Well, yeah, because where we were sitting, thank you, Q, for, again, getting the seats. Super nice of you, man. Appreciate the hookup. Where we were sitting, you could see McConaughey, like, on the field. Sam was there because he played Thursday night.
Right.
So you could see McConaughey. He was talking to Sam a lot. He was talking to Bijan a lot. Once they pulled Bijan, him and McConaughey were brown down. That was cool.
Former guest of the show, Andrew Beck, was there, too.
Yeah, former guest of the show, McConaughey, was there.
Right.
He
played on Thursday night.
Former guest of the show, CDC was there, too.
A lot of former,
So was Overshawn.
Yeah, a lot of former guests of the show. CDC was down with McConaughey, and I see he's like that. My God, it looked like he wasn't turning around. Like, that looks like Q from behind. And I see like how Quan laughs, he kind of leans back. I saw him do one of those. I was like, that's Quan.
What about you should have just?
And he was sandwiched between McConaughey and
what
CDC.
color shirt was he wearing?
He was wearing purple.
He was wearing a purple shirt.
On the sideline?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
TCU and Kansas State beat Oklahoma.
Yeah, he was
Longhorn
really.
fans, you got to thank Quan for that W because he brought the purple juju.
Yeah, and I just want to say one more thing on the Sanders point. He had that one. It was a beautiful throw by Quinn where he threaded it and he kind of boxed out the DB. That was a great play.
And the guy tried to tackle him and just like bounced off like you were playing pinball. Like
yeah,
that.
he's a beast.
Yeah,
he's a stud. But yeah, you were signing us off, Nicholas.
No, I think I've done it already. Time to box out this podcast and get you going for next week for the Iowa State game. Horns Up Talking Texas. Nikki Snacks Crider, Joshua Fisher, Alexander Tesopoulos. The Quan Cause will be back next week. Get your horns up.